Good day, here are the top stories from the Philippine News Agency. Our top story at this hour, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. called for the swift passage of a law introducing mining reforms to create a more sustainable and equitable future for the industry. Speaking at the 2023 Philippine Mineral Industry Environmental Award ceremony in Malacañang Palace earlier today, Marcos emphasized the importance of a new law, emphasizing that it is crucial in establishing a just and impartial mining industry for all stakeholders. He also highlighted the importance of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR's efforts to strengthen its regulatory oversight to ensure that mining operations adhere to strict safety and environmental standards. The President also lauded 13 mining companies for their outstanding efforts in responsible mining, raising the standard for the entire industry. He remains hopeful that through cooperation among the government, industry stakeholders, and local communities, the Philippines would emerge as a global leader in responsible mining under the Bagong Pilipinas vision. The PMIEA, which is the top environmental award in the mining industry, was created by Executive Order 399. It recognizes businesses that show exceptional performance in protecting the environment, ensuring safety, promoting health, and advancing social development.
As I stand before you at this 2023 Presidential Mineral Industry Environmental Award ceremonial awarding, I'm struck by a powerful truth. True progress, anchored on responsibility, paves the way for a more sustainable future. The Philippines, as one of the most mineral-rich countries in the world, has a unique opportunity to leverage its natural resources for national development. But this can only be done if we ensure that the wealth that we generate is shared equitably, that our ecosystems are safeguarded, and that local communities are empowered.
We continue with calls for countries to adopt budgetary reforms and innovative financial mechanisms to strengthen disaster risk reduction and mobilize resources effectively. During the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, Environment Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga stressed the importance of investing in resilience measures to mitigate the impact of frequent natural disasters. She urges the use of data-driven methods in disaster risk financing to improve prevention tactics and draw specific investments. Loizaga emphasized the significance of risk-informed infrastructure in the Philippines' National Adaptation Plan, highlighting the necessity of broader financing approaches such as climate-resilient bonds and blended finance. Meanwhile, United Nations Special Representative Kamal Kishore emphasized the extensive economic damage caused by disasters, indicating that infrastructure systems alone experience an annual average loss of $800 billion. He calls for nations to tackle these dangers with holistic approaches that include domestic budgets, climate funds, private funding, and foreign aid. Asian Development Bank President Masatsugu Asakawa also supported the adoption of creative financial instruments such as parametric insurance and catastrophe bonds. He emphasizes the significance of public-private partnerships in mobilizing resources for DRR and maximizing funding impacts. Asakawa also mentioned the ADB's commitment to providing $100 billion for climate financing by 2030 and its efforts in advancing resilience through risk-informed planning, building codes, and disaster risk assessments in the region. Shifting gears now, the House Appropriations Committee has earmarked 292 billion pesos under the proposed 2025 national budget to enhance social services, strengthen social safety nets, and ensure food security. The new funding is on top of the 591.8 billion pesos already set aside by the Department of Budget and Management for cash assistance to impoverished families. House Appropriations Committee Chair Ako Bicol Party List Representative Elizalde Co said the funding package will address the needs of vulnerable sectors. Among the enhancements in the spending bill is the funding of over 103 billion pesos for the DSWD assistance to individuals in crisis situation, Ayuda sa Kaposang Kita program or AKAP, the Sustainable Livelihood Program, and the TUPAD and government internship programs. An additional 30 billion pesos will be allocated to scholarships for underprivileged tertiary students plus 7 billion pesos for the construction and repair of school facilities. The Armed Forces will get 8.44 billion pesos for soldiers' allowances, plus 3.2 billion pesos to complete the airport expansion on Pag-asa Island and the shelter port in Lawak, Palawan. To enhance food security, the House has set aside 44 billion pesos for irrigation projects of the National Irrigation Administration and 30 billion pesos for the Department of Agriculture's irrigation and cold storage projects. Meanwhile, the Department of Health is set to receive 56.8 billion pesos to enhance its health facilities and legacy hospitals and aid indigent patients. The UP Philippine General Hospital will also get 1 billion pesos for its upgrades. The Department of Migrant Workers and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, joined forces in enhancing the skills and employability of overseas Filipino workers. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak and TESDA Director General Jose Francisco Benitez signed the Memorandum of Agreement at a ceremony at the TESDA office in Taguig City. Under the agreement, the DMW shall promote training programs focused on upskilling, reskilling, and cross-skilling and recommend to eligible OFWs and dependents, including family members. On the other hand, TESDA will orient OFWs and its programs and services and provide the necessary skills training, assessment, and certification for them. Kakdak says an OFW at the level of a globally integrated skilled worker would become more productive, happier, and more equipped to contribute to his family, community, and country. Aside from signing the pact, TESDA and DMW initially released 249 scholarship training certificates for selected qualified beneficiaries. As part of efforts to rehabilitate the country's main gateway, the new operator of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA, says passengers are now enjoying faster and more reliable free Wi-Fi connectivity in all of its 4 terminals. The new NAIA Infrastructure Corporation, or NNIC, says passengers can now connect to the new NAIA Wi-Fi and enjoy internet speeds of 50 to 60 Mbps, with peak speeds reaching 115 Mbps. Users can connect to the new NAIA Wi-Fi for 3 hours from the previous 2-hour limit. Providing personal information to connect is no longer required. The NNIC has partnered with PLDT Smart and Converge to upgrade the airport's connectivity. It also renewed its commitment to providing a high level of service that meets the expectations of travelers. The NNIC is investing 170 billion pesos to modernize and elevate NAIA to international standards. That's the latest and biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. It's 70 days before Christmas. I'm Bench Bondok. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.